What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode For the Love of Money with your host, Real Jefferson. Look, today we got a special episode. You know, we always talk about money, we always talk about love, but today we're gonna talk about money and music. So I got two dope special guests, but the one guest first, he's the digital mastermind, Mr. JACOBY Monday. You might have seen him from the likes of working on your favorite R&B rapper, digital marketer, seen him working on their website and their brand. That's what he does. My man JACOBY Monday, actor. Say what's up, JACOBY.
Yo, JACOBY, people call me the coolest nerd ever, man.
The coolest.
I'm all about building businesses, brands, and bank accounts. I've been doing this for over a decade now. As you said, I work with a lot of influencers in the music space, the entrepreneur space, more notable beauty space. I've helped a lot of women make millions of dollars selling hair weave. So that was my claim to fame. And I transitioned into being a content creator, now actor on the biggest platform on Facebook. I'm on a Country Wayne show. We're doing skits. We're doing over 1 billion views per month. Shout out to Wayne. And also done a few movies, man. So now that I'm about Russell, I think I want to be a music artist too.
Now, after we done heard from the coolest, you got to talk about the man that's killing the music industry right now, bringing hip hop back to what it was, showing the education, showing the knowledge, showing the foundation, showing the ground of real music. It ain't about the cars, the clothes. It's about the 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s. My man, LARUSSELL.
Yes, sir. What's happening?
Man, thank you for pulling up, brother.
We made it.
Man, we made it. We made it. Kobe, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So it was supposed to be a panel. You know, y'all might see some other guests may pop in here later on. My man Smitty the GOAT, my other guy Darius Bender, my homie Herman Dose. Y'all know them online, Smitty the GOAT, Darius, and Herman Haitian CEO, just financial literacy guys. You know, but I wanted to bring it in where I can have a conversation with these gentlemen about money and music. It's a lot of times in the industry that I've been around a lot of artists that, you know, the money comes slow. It may come 9, 10 months, who knows when it's gonna come. But in that meantime, you know, what are you doing or what's helping you leverage to be able to pay for your marketing, your advertisement, your studio time, your travel? And a lot of my guys, shout out to my homie G, that's my man, Simba's manager, hit me one day, was like, Real, we need them Amexes. So look, I just want to talk to Russ and talk to Kobe. My other guys, they'll be here soon, but I want to talk to them about OPM. Russ, when you hit a term, well, fellas, when y'all hit a term, other people's money, OPM, what does that term mean to you? Let's
Start with me.
Yeah.
Other people's money, I first got introduced to it, I think like most entrepreneurs when they talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that book, when I first start being interested in the word leverage. And in that book, it talked about most people don't know how to leverage, they just know how to be leveraged. So when I think about OPM, I think about me having that one thing that most businesses fail at is having capital, you know, having that leverage of capital to be able to get more visibility, to get more relationships, to be able to be in more rooms, right? And OPM for me has been something that could be detrimental to our community or beneficial, you know, either way. So I hear it and I take it with a grain of salt because a lot of people mindset are not quite ready for the money. So it's like, I think about it and I'm an advocate of it, but I'm also an advocate of before you get into other people's money is making sure you got the right mentorship, right coaching before you dive into that lane. So it's like I think about it as a benefit, but then also, you know, just seeing what's been happening in our space, our community, is that I'm not as pushing it as much as I used to, you know? I really want to feel like people need the education before they tap into their bread.
They do. I want to tap back onto that too.
Yeah.
I want to get Russ's point. When you hear OPM, what do you think of other people's money?
Similar sentiment. You know, I'm somebody who used my own paper to get here, but I've also leveraged other people's capital too. I think OPM is building something valuable enough for somebody to want to put into your pot.
I like that. That's dope. Yeah, when I first thought about OPM, because one of my brands for my financial literacy is OPM, other people's money. And what I try to get to our people is to understand that the money that you get from your job or for whatever you do to pay for your lifestyle, that's just for that. I was always taught the job stood for just over broke. So that you needed to be able to have something else to be able to help you to leverage, to be able to reach your dreams, your goals. So other people's money, like you said, and I want to tap onto that, a lot of our people don't understand how to set up a budget. And I feel like that a budget is the number one thing that comes with OPM. So what you're saying, like you said, it could be good for our people and it could be bad for our people. Because when you get in all of that debt and you don't know what to put it into, that's when it becomes a problem. Yeah, but after hearing exactly what you guys are saying, it sounds like you both understand the concept, and your concept is really dope, and it makes real good sense to actually how to flip the money, how to put the money into things that's gonna make you more money.
Yeah, I think you definitely need to already have some traction before you tap into it. You know, before you
definitely gotta have.
Yeah, you got, because you get the money and you so focused on getting the money before you actually get the work ethic. So
something we talked about earlier. It's like we don't go into a deal asking for anything we haven't made ourselves. You know, if you haven't proven that you could generate that yourself off your own will and your own merit, you shouldn't go into a deal asking for it from somebody else.
No, you shouldn't.
And you got to know what come with it, because the borrower becomes a slave to the lender. So you have to understand what happens with that bread. People get money and think that you don't got to pay it back, especially in the music industry, you know?
So then, Russ, let me ask you a question.
Because in the music industry, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay it back in the same sense that you got to pay it back to a bank, which is why it alters that perception. You feel me?
How do you
don't have to pay it back.
Next question.
You don't have to pay it back the same way you pay off a car loan. So in the sense, you know, when niggas is like adjusted and acclimated to when your rent due, you pay it every month. When your credit card bill, you pay it every month. But when you get a loan from a label, it don't happen in that same style of transaction. So it's easy to get caught in that delusion of like, this never has to go back.
So with that being said then, because that was literally what I was about to say next, because I got a lot of my friends that are artists, and they've had one of my guys, DKE Arthur, at one point, I think $1.4 million deal. But at the end of the day, he was such a good artist and a songwriter that when it was time to recoup, they let that go and was just like, hey, you could just come work for us and just work at the studio. So do you think that it's better to use your own capital, or do you think that, because it's a lot of artists, man, every time I walk somewhere, everybody always asks me, man, you can help me get a deal, you can help me get a deal, can you help me get a deal? What, in your opinion, is the best way to go about what you're doing? Do you think if you could have did it all over, would you have took a large lump sum from a Rock Nation or Interscope or one of those type of labels, or what would you rather do it the way that you do it?
I think it depends on how much creative freedom and independence you desire. If you don't care to have that freedom and that liberation to do whatever you please, then the deal makes sense, because you like, I'm just a worker. Some people are okay with just going to Walmart and stocking the shelf and getting a check for it, then going home. And you can't be mad at them. Some niggas is like, nah, I need to build a Walmart and I'm going to hire everybody to stock the shelves and I'll pay them and I'll figure it out. You feel me? So it depends on what type of career you want for yourself. A lot of people like the prettiness of independence, but not the grittiness of independence.
It's no joke. You see, we all one-man shows up in here. You got a team, but I'm sure it didn't start off like that. So then let me ask you this then. It's a thin line between leverage and debt. What should creators understand before they borrow $1 from the bank or from the label? What do you think is most important? Because we just talked about over-leveraging yourself. What do you think is the most important part? Because I listened to your song. You said I'm in a hustle like my dad. So like, I was a hustler like my mother. So where did you get it from, or where? Maybe that's a two. Maybe I'm asking two questions at one time. But what do you think is better? When it's like you're leveraging that debt, that thin line between debt and leverage.
Like I said earlier, I think you should only go and get what you could earn yourself. Like, I didn't go propose a deal to a Live Nation or anyone until I built my own touring repertoire myself. I sold 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 tickets independently before I went to anyone and was like, hey, would you be willing to do something with me? I sold hundreds of thousands of merch before I went to Shopify and said, hey, would you be willing to do something with me? Like, I created that for myself, so I knew it was tangible and possible. I think when people do that prematurely, that's where they mess up, because you don't learn everything. And it's to a fault, like I spent all my own paper early, so I had to learn with my own money. But since I learned with my own money, I didn't owe nobody for it, But once you get other people's paper, if you got to learn to make the mistakes with their money, you really in the hole 3 times now, because you didn't spend it in the way it needed to be spent to get your ROI properly.
Yeah. I saw a post, I want to say earlier today from, I think it was from Lil Baby. And it was funny that he said this because you already doing it.
Yeah. He
said, what if you could buy stock of your favorite artist? So can you tell us, like, how did that work for you and what you're doing? Because, like, that $11,001 that Kyrie dropped, that's looking like what you're doing
I feel
with
like
marketing.
Every year since I started doing it, I've been seeing somebody come out each year like, man, we gonna do it. Nas tried it at one point. And a lot of people failed at what we've successfully did for the past 5 years because they don't actually own the music. They're trying to give people fractional shares of the small percentage that they own in it. I don't have to deal with that. When I make a song, I own the song 100%. So I could sell whatever I want to anybody, and it's never an issue because it's actually mine. It's not something that I own 15% in and I'm like trying to fractionally share it. But what Lil Baby's saying is still something we haven't fully accomplished, and that's an idea I had years ago too. I was thinking about LaMelo Ball, and I was like, man, this nigga's so tight. I wish I could invest in just his journey of what he's going to become, and investing in an artist in that level still ain't achieved. Like I allow people to do it through buying shares and songs, and I've scaled that to like, okay, I'll let you in on the show, I'll let you in on this too, but it's still not a process that can be replicated with everyone, because a lot of artists don't own damn near even their name. They don't own their IP, their music, their name, their likeness. So it's like, what can you sell that you don't have?
Yeah, I got a lot of people right now that I got a group that I've been working with that's been buying catalogs. And they bought DMX. Man, I shouldn't even said that. All right, make sure you take that out. They done bought a bunch of catalogs, and what I'm noticing is that people don't realize how much value is in their music
because they don't own it.
Yeah, but and when I'm noticing another thing is I'm calling them. You got producers that got a piece of it. You got engineers that got a piece of it. One of my buddies made Getting and Niggas in Paris and some other songs. And I'm like, man, bro, you want to sell something? He like, let me check and see what I got going on. So like you said, it's all divvied up. But Jacoby, let me ask you this though. Where do you see from the artists and the people that you work with, like from the standpoint of how to like market or monetize that brand where people are able to get a piece of it? Because I know you, because like your team set up my first digital platform, my first funnel and all of that. So what do you think from where you are with the digital that it could work with those artists? Or do you got something to say about what we talking about as far as the Lil Baby
I
thing?
think the Lil Baby thing I'm not aware of, but what you're saying as far as stock is definitely something that's really interesting because I'm in finance also. So hearing that idea of buying shares in an artist or buying stock in an artist is a definitely interesting concept. I wasn't aware that was an angle that you were pushing. I think that's pretty dope. And it leads into your question that you're asking me, because I'm a firm believer in community. And with community appreciates structure. They appreciate organization. They appreciate consistency the most. And to be able to do that, your people have to trust you. right? And to invest into a company, you got to trust the company. You got to look at its earnings. You got to look at its potential. You got to see what it's been doing in the past and know where it's going in the future. So everything about investing into your brand is your name, you know, like you think about lifestyle, and that's a lot of things for us as a culture. You know, Black people, we always decide, are we investing back into our business and systems? Are we investing into lifestyle? Are we investing into the chains, the jewelries, the cars? And I went that angle too, right? I went the angle too, and then I learned fast. I'm like, okay, cool. This is just more expensive. These are just more things for me to spend my money on. Right? I'm like, oh, I didn't know that this wasn't my money. This is the business money. And I remember a bar one of my mentors told me, he said, man, your business can't afford you. And I was like, damn. I was like, damn. And when your business can't afford you, your community you start losing touch with what built you up. Your people saw you one way, and then now you change because you got your money. You know what I'm saying? And they want to see your growth, and they want to see your elevation, your evolution. But a lot of times, once you get that bread, you lose touch of who your real core community was, and then the stock changes, and now you got a different people interested.
Man, you know, it's funny you say that, because when you look at the lineage of some artists, their core base is completely gone. You know, like they're far removed. Like Drake is a great example of someone who's like, a lot of his core base, the niggas who was rooting for him really early on, has like pulled back because it's such a different version of who he is today than what they and that's the human journey. You feel me? Like that happened with Friends too. But yeah, that is definitely, especially in hip hop, it's become like when you struggling and you trying to come up, all you know is your community, because you like, nigga, this us. Yeah. And then once you get some money, it become disassociative, because it's like, nigga, we don't drive Lambos, and we don't have change. Like, nigga, we don't know. But they around, but they trying to be around the same niggas and still sell product to the same niggas who like, bro, my shoes fucked up. You know, it's like we can't even connect and relate on the same things.
Yeah. So what you saying that? Shout out to my boy DK. He was telling me like the numbers have changed. People cannot relate to the artist right now, and the music is dying. Yep. And the younger generation is having kids, bill problems, jobs, issues, mental health, and they can't relate, and they need something to be able to bring them over to where they're growing to. And they're listening to a lot of the older music now, and a lot of older artists are getting signed because they can relate to the things that these people are talking about. Man. Yeah, so like there's a huge disconnect, and I feel like that the music industry right now, especially with rap, it's like it's dying for. I mean,
exactly. Like to say that, to touch on like a few of your songs. Like I remember just even to go get that bag, right? So it's like, I think about you talking to the everyday person, you right? It's like, especially an entrepreneur that understands the ebbs and flows of entrepreneurship, understands the ebbs and flows of life. And it's like, all right, cool. I didn't put that joint on like, damn, let me get right. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've noticed that with my content too. So I've done lifestyle, I've done cars, whips and all of that. And that was at one point in time the thing on Instagram. Yeah. But now, whenever I post out some content, like I just had a video go viral, bro. It was a 6-second video, a meme. On the meme, it was literally me saying on the meme, it said, a homeless person asked me for money, but he don't know we in the same situation. My fit just harder. You know what I'm saying? It went super viral.
On Jehovah.
It went super viral. And I was like, the everyday person this is who we need to talk to right now. It's like, everybody's feeling that. It's like, damn, they don't know that I'm broke too. My fit just hard. I'm going through, and it's like, and I think about your tunes, your music. Man, it's like that everyday person,
and it's never changed. You know, all of our top artists has always been the ones who connect to us at that level. Niggas love Pac because like, Pac gonna give you toss it up and pop it and flex it, but he also gonna give you changes, and Brenda's got a bay and the songs that you like, damn, this nigga from where I'm from and he understand it. He made it, but he's still not flexing on me. Like I'm just a broke ass nigga now.
That's key. That's key. That's key.
Yeah, I look at it like it's only a couple artists like that I feel like that people can really relate to right now. And with you bringing up Drake, like, I don't know if you can really speak on this, but I feel like that with Drake, and the whole Kendrick thing and the whole thing with J. Cole, I feel like J. Cole stepped out of the game when hip hop really needed him. And it's like now
That's a bar.
it's like, where is he at? It's like you don't see him. But you know, with Drake, you always gonna get consistency. Artists like Drake, consistency. That's the one thing that I think that keeps him going. Like Kendrick, prior to him being upset with how Drake came at him or whatever bars, that it didn't look like organic. Shout out to Larry June. It didn't look organic. It looked as if like, oh, I'm about to go. So you only want to give us your best when you in your feelings? Like when I was growing up listening to Jay didn't stop. Hov put out like what, 14 albums? Like Too Short. If Tupac was still alive, I'm just saying those artists cared about the passion of it. And it's kind of, I mean, you can say that a lot of people want to have that debate about whether Drake or Kendrick is the better artist. I look at Kendrick's and Drake's body of work. Ain't nobody consistent like Drake. I've never seen a man go from dealing with Little Brother, then going with Cash Money, then going with Future, doing his own thing. And I feel like that he knows how to monetize his brand the best. And that's why when I looked at you and when my boy was like, man, bro, you need to tap in with Russ. Like, your growth is impeccable. You started in your backyard with your mama, man. Like, that's like, to me, you know, that's the dopest thing you can do.
Two things, because I agree, but there's a quantity and then there's a quality aspect to that, right?
Yeah.
And just because a nigga talking a lot don't mean he got something to say. You know?
Man,
you can talk a lot.
School,
you can talk a lot and still not be saying a lot. And I think I seen an interview with Hov where he was saying, like, you know, I probably won't make another album until I have something really meaningful to say. Yeah. And I think Kendrick stands on that same grounds. Like, Drake is so consistent because he's like me. Like, we just have such a deep passion for it. We always creating and we want to share. But some people use the music as like, I really like, until I have something that's really on me that I got to get off, I'm not going to put nothing into the atmosphere to pollute it. You know, and you can't really knock either of those processes because Drake has put a lot into the world, so has Lil Wayne. But what did they say? Right? What did they say?
Yeah, they said some shit. They definitely said some shit. Let me ask you this, bro. Like, with you putting out the album, I'm a big Nipsey fan. I'm a big Currency Spitter fan, and I grew up with that. So what made you come to release your project the way that you did? Because I was one of them people that bought the $100, tape from Currency.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so what made you do that? Because, like, I watched Larry June, Monroe Flow, shout out Monroe. I watched these people build organically. So what made you say, man, this is what I'm gonna do? What did you take that out of their book, or was that?
Yeah, that was definitely from Nip's book. You know, I was contemplating on how I could do a version of the $100 album for myself, but I didn't know a lot of niggas who had $100. So I removed the floor. I was like, I got $0 in my pocket. I'm gonna let a nigga pay me whatever, because if they give me $2, I'm in the green.
I'm taking
You feel me? And that just kind of evolved into what I have today. You feel me? That everybody else is using. Like, we just put the power in the people and trust that the people deem your art whatever you know they feel is worth.
That's what's up. I know you feel like your art is worth more than that. I don't want to be too personal. You collect six figures? Did you do six figures, or you went 7?
On this last release?
On this last one.
Several six figures.
It's up.
You know, but it's community empowerment. You know, to me, it wasn't even about the monetary value. It was about how many sales could I actually do activating my own community alone. It's major artists on labels who ain't sold 21,000 records in, let alone 30 days a year. You know, so for me, it wasn't even the monetary thing, because I know I'm always gonna make money. I provide too much value to people to not make money, but I just wanted to see how much I could rally my own community and engage them, and if they truly support what I'm doing.
Nah, everybody supports you, bro. When I told people I was interviewing today, they was like, "You're interviewing LaRussell?"
Yeah.
Russell?
See, but support come in different forms. Like some niggas watch you and they deem that support. But some niggas actually go put it, like if you pushing your car down the street, some niggas will film you and watch you and be like, "Hey, go, bruh." But they not gonna get out and help you.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like that's supportive, but that's not support.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We gonna take a quick.
It's hard to monetize belief, and
Man.
with a community you monetize belief, and that's huge to be able to do that. You know, people in our space as entrepreneurs, we monetize interests. You know, so I think that's super dope how you've monetized people believing, and I noticed that with streamers too. They monetize belief. People supporting them. Kai, he monetized that too. You know, so that's pretty dope.
Oh, bro, I watched you build a couple of people brands too, though, bro. Like I watched you build their brands. Like I seen you. Like you was the person that put Bandman Kevin on with the content like that. A lot of people don't say it, but I know it. Like I seen you put the ugly money situation with that, the stocks and like, bro, you doing it.
I did a lot behind the scenes, but behind the scenes you'll get left behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But you know, it's time. You know, and I my goal was to not be in the front of the camera, but now I'm on a totally different direction. Now I'm like, all right, let me jump back out here, and now I got a groundwork. And something to talk about, as you said. You know, it's important having something to talk about, because if I didn't do all that, I wouldn't be right here.
All right, we're gonna take a break real quick. Come back with another person that's popping multi-millionaire, putting everybody in the world on how to get to this OPM. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. See y'all in a minute.